Hello friends, this is Kumar and I welcome all of you to my YouTube channel. Friends, today I am here to discuss with you Our Casuarina Tree by Toru Dutt. Toru Dutt, born 1856, died 1877, was one of the earliest Indian poets who chose to write in a European language. Her family converted to Christianity when she was 6 years old. When she was 13, they left for Europe and spent a year in France and 3 years in England. After that, they returned to Calcutta. Her first book, A Sheaf Gleaned in French Fields, published in 1876, consists of poems which she had translated from French into English. A leading critic of the time, Edmund Goose, described them as being of lasting value. On returning to India, she started learning Sanskrit, read parts of the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, the Vishnu Puran, and the Bhagavad Gita, and captured in her poems the rich dignity of mythical and legendary figures like Sita, Lakshman, Savitri, and Yam, Dhruv, Prahlad, and Eklavya. These poems in English were published after her death at the young age of 21 as Ancient Ballads and Legends of Hindustan in 1882. She also wrote a novel in French and another in English. Her poems reveal sympathy for nature, for flowers, trees, birds, and animals. In a sonnet, she describes the lotus as combining the best of the rose and the lily. In this poem, the poet, who has lived far away from her native land for quite some time, addresses the magnificent casuarina tree under which she used to play as a child, and with which are associated the memories of those whom she loved deeply, her elder brother Abju and her sister Aru, who are no more alive. Let us read the poem now. Our Casuarina Tree by Toru Dutt. Casuarina is a tall tree found in many parts of the world that can grow up to 35 meters in height. It is variously known as Australian oak or jhau in Bangla. Like a huge python winding round and round, python is a large known poisonous snake that winds itself around small animals and crushes them to death before swallowing them. In Hindi, it is known as Ajgar. The rugged trunk indented deep with scars. Rugged means large, rough, and strong. Indented with scars means having marks of cuts. Up to its very summit near the stars. Summit means top. A creeper climbs, in whose embraces bound no other tree could live. As a creeper grows round the stem of a tree, it tends to encircle the tree so tightly that further growth of the tree is restricted, and the tree gradually dies because of the creeper's embrace. But gallantly means splendidly, courteously. The giant wears the scarf. Giant is the huge tree. The flowers are hung in crimson clusters, all the boughs among. Crimson is slightly purplish deep red color. Clusters means bunches, while boughs means branches. Whereon all day are gathered bird and bee, and oft at nights the garden overflows with one sweet song that seems to have no close. Close means end. Sung darkling from our tree, while men repose. Darkling in means in the dark. Repose, rest comfortably, or sleep. So, in the first stanza, the poet at first describes the grand appearance of the tall tree encircled by a creeper, which it seems to wear like a scarf. Among the deep red flowers hanging from its branches, birds and bees gather during the day. Often, even after it gets dark and people are asleep, a sweet song continues to be heard almost endlessly from its branches. When first my casement is wide open thrown, casement is the window. At dawn my eyes delighted on it rest. Sometimes and most in winter, on its crest. Crest is top, means top. A grey baboon sits statue-like alone. Baboon is a type of large monkey. In Hindi, we call it langur. Watching the sunrise. While on lower boughs, his puny offspring leap about and play. Puny means small and weak. And far and near, kokilas hail the day. Hail means greet. And to their pastures wend our sleepy cows. Pasture is the land where grass grows for cattle, sheep, etc. to feed on. In Hindi, it is known as charagah. Wend means move slowly over a distance. And in the shadow, on the broad tank cast by that hoar tree, so beautiful and vast. So in the shadow that is cast by that old tree on the broad tank. Hoar means old in age. So that tank is old in age. The water lilies spring like snow and mast. White water lily flowers floating on the surface of the large tank look like piled up snow. Water lily is the lily that grows in the water. In Hindi, it is known as kumud or kumudini. Spring means come out or grow, and mast means gathered together in a large quantity. So the first thing that poet likes to see is the casuarina tree, and that is the first thing in the morning, and she is delighted by the images of happiness and beauty associated with it. Yet she becomes conscious of a sad unearthly sound coming from the tree, as if the tree were lamenting its own inevitable passing away in future, as well as of all other beautiful things and happy beings. But not because of its magnificence. Dear is the casuarina to my soul. Beneath it we have played, though years may roll. Roll means pass. O sweet companions, loved with love intense, for your sakes shall the tree be ever dear. This tree shall always remain close to the poet's heart because of her love for the companions, her elder brother and sister, with whom she played under it during childhood, and who were now dead. Her brother Abju, who was 5 years older than her, had died at the age of 14, and sister Aru, who was 18 months older than her, had died at the age of 19. Blent with your images it shall arise in memory till the hot tears blind mine eyes. Blent means blended, mixed or mingled. What is that dirge like murmur that I hear, like the sea breaking on a shingle beach? It is the tree's lament and airy speech that happily to the unknown land may reach. Dirge is a slow, sad song sung on someone's death. Murmur is the soft, low sound. The sea breaking on a shingle beach is large foamy waves of the sea rolling onto the shore covered with shingle. Shingle is a small, rough, rounded pieces of stone. Lament is also a song expressing sorrow, especially for the death of somebody. Here the lament could be for the things and persons passing away with time. Airy means unearthly, causing a feeling of mystery and fear. Happy means perhaps, and it is in old use. So the poet hopes that the tree's sad sound will be heard even in the unknown world beyond death, by those who are already dead and by the poet after her death. Unknown, yet well known to the eye of faith. Ah, I have heard that wail, far, far away. Wail means long cry or sound of grief or pain. In distant lands by many a sheltered bay. Bay is the part of the sea enclosed in a curve of land, with the land on almost three sides, sheltered from storms. When slumbered in his cave, the water wraith. Slumbered means slept peacefully. Water wraith is a spirit supposed to live in water and having the semblance of a human being. This conveys the sense of there being life in nature. In Hindi, we call it Jalpari. And the waves gently kissed the classic shore of France or Italy beneath the moon when earth lay tranced in a dreamless swoon. It means slept peacefully, undisturbed by any dream. Tranced means in a trance, in a sleep like state of mind, when one is not conscious of things around one. Swoon is a condition when one is almost unconscious. And every time the music rose, before mine inner vision rose a form sublime. Sublime means grand, noble, very good, or great. Thy form, O tree, as in my happy prime. Prime is the earliest, freshest time of early youth. I saw thee in my own loved native clime. Clime means country or region. While the poet was far away from her loved native land, many a time when the sea was calm and all life in nature seemed to be sleeping peacefully in moonlight, in the gentle sound of the waves, she heard the sad sound of the casuarina tree, and it evoked in her mind the magnificent image of the tree as she had seen it in the happy time of her early youth. Therefore, I fain would consecrate a lay unto thy honor, tree, beloved of those who now in blessed sleep for aye repose. The poet would like to write a song specifically to honor the casuarina tree that was very dear to her elder brother and sister, whom the poet loved more than her life but who are now no more. Fain means with pleasure. Consecrate means dedicate. Lay means song. For I means forever. Dearer than life to me, alas, were they. Mayst thou be numbered when my days are done, with the deathless trees like those in Borodale. The trees that will be always remembered and will thus live on almost forever in memory, like the trees in Borodale, a valley in the Lake District of England. The beauty of the Lake District has been richly described in Wordsworth poetry, under whose awful branches lingered pale, fear, trembling hope, and death, the skeleton, and time the shadow, and though weak the verse. Awful means causing awe, a feeling of respect mixed with fear and wonder. Lingered means stayed on, while pale means lifeless or weak. That would thy beauty fain, O fain rehearse, may love defend thee from oblivion's curse. Rehearse means describe fully. Oblivion means forgetfulness. Oblivion's curse, as time passes, people are forgotten. As under the trees in Borosdale, so also under the branches of this tree, feelings of fear, hope, death, often portrayed as a skeleton, and time are experienced. Though her poem may not live for long, the poet wishes her casuarina tree to remain alive in human memory like the trees in Borodale. She says that even if this poem written to honor the tree fails to describe its charm adequately, her love for this tree will ensure that it is never forgotten, living on in the memory of the poet and all others who love it. So this is all. Our poem, Our Casuarina Tree by Toru Dutt, finally ends here. I hope you understand the poem. And if you have any question regarding the poem, please write it in the comment and I would like to answer that question. And please like, share and subscribe the channel. This much all in this lecture. Stay tuned for further such lectures. Thank you very much for joining us.